Thomas Sankara, a man who loved Africa more than himself and did a lot for the people, but was still assassinated by his close friend. The year was 1960. Upper Volta, present-day Burkina Faso, gained independence from France after 60 years of oppression, and Maurice Umiogo became the first president of Upper Volta. Thomas Sankara was just 11 years old when Upper Volta gained independence. His father was a military veteran who fought for France in World War II and later worked as a civil servant. Sankara attended Catholic mission schools and was an outstanding student, especially in literature and history. Teachers noted his early interest in justice, ethics, and African identity. He was drawn to the works of Marx, Lenin, and Che Guevara, as well as anti-colonial African leaders like Kwame Nkrumah and Amilcar Cabral. Even though France declared independence for Upper Volta, Sankara knew they were still in control. He saw the new president as a puppet of the French, and he wasn't wrong. President Maurice Umiogo continued French economic policies, trade relations, and allowed a continued military presence after independence. He did not push for real economic sovereignty or land reform policies that might have challenged French interests. Basically, the French still controlled the economy and military of Upper Volta. In a single word, neocolonialism. In 1966, at the age of 17, Thomas Sankara entered the Kadiogo Military Academy in Ouagadougou. There, he joined political discussions on imperialism and socialism, guided by teacher Adama Touré, marking the start of his ideological formation. At 19 years old, Thomas Sankara joined the military. He was sent for officer training in Madagascar, where he witnessed student uprisings and learned Marxist ideology. Madagascar is where his revolutionary thinking became stronger. He saw how the military could be used for nation building, not just repression. By 1973, he returned to Upper Volta as a junior officer. Upon returning home, Sankara became increasingly politically active, aligning with other radical officers who shared his vision for an independent and self-reliant Africa. After a military coup in 1982, a new group called the Council of Popular Salvation, CSP, took control of Upper Volta. Thomas Sankara joined this group and was made Secretary of State for Information. At first, many people had hoped that the new government would bring change, and Sankara was seen as a fresh, honest voice. He spoke out for poor people, workers, and farmers, and wanted more freedom of speech and less control from rich elites and foreign powers like France. But soon, Sankara started to clash with the leaders of the new government. They didn't like his radical ideas and bold speeches. He refused to lie to the people or support the interests of the rich, which made many powerful people in the government feel threatened. In May 1983, the leaders had him arrested to stop him from gaining more support. However, this plan backfired. His arrest made people even angrier. Protests broke out, especially among young people and soldiers who believed in Sankara's ideas. Just 3 months later, his close friend, Blaise Compaoré, removed the old leaders and made Sankara president on August 4, 1983. Thomas Sankara became president at the age of just 33. Upon becoming president, Sankara changed the name of his country from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, meaning land of upright people. But it wasn't just the name he changed. He revolutionized his country. Thomas Sankara took land from rich landowners and gave it to poor farmers so they could grow their own food and have control over their land. Burkina Faso more than doubled its food production, and for the first time, the country was able to grow enough food to feed its own people without needing to import it. Sankara took control of the country's natural resources, supported local businesses, and reduced imports so that Burkina Faso could depend on itself instead of foreign countries. He vaccinated 2 to 2.5 million children against meningitis, measles, and yellow fever in just a few weeks. He built health centers across villages. Infant mortality dropped dramatically from 208 to 145 per 1,000 births. Sankara launched the Alpha Commando Literacy Campaign, which helped raise the literacy rate in Burkina Faso from around 13% to 73% between 1983 and 1987. He built schools and vocational training centers and promoted community-based education by sending out revolutionary teachers to teach people in villages and towns. He led a reforestation drive, planting over 10 million trees to combat desertification. Sankara made female genital mutilation, polygamy, and forced marriages illegal, taking strong steps to protect women's rights and promote gender equality in Burkina Faso. He appointed women to government and military roles and encouraged equal participation. Sankara built roads, railways, houses, hospitals, and schools using local materials and workers. He sold off expensive government cars, cut high salaries, including his own, to about $450 a month, and banned first-class travel and personal drivers to set an example of simple and honest leadership. Thomas Sankara famously used a Renault 5 as his official car, one of the cheapest cars available in West Africa at the time. But why did the West hate him? Sankara refused to take loans from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and World Bank, calling their policies a form of economic slavery. He argued that these institutions kept African countries trapped in debt and dependency. This was a direct attack on Western financial control over poor nations. Sankara took land and mineral rights away from foreign corporations and the local elite and gave control to the people. This move angered foreign investors, especially French companies, who had been exploiting Burkina Faso's resources for decades. He reduced French political and economic influence, refused to be a puppet leader, and started aligning with anti-imperialist nations like Cuba, Libya, and Ghana. This alarmed France and the West, who saw it as a threat to their control in West Africa. Sankara openly criticized neocolonialism and encouraged other African countries to be self-reliant and break free from Western domination. He rejected foreign aid that came with strings attached and promoted produce what you consume policies. Thomas Sankara supported many revolutionary, anti-colonial, and liberation movements around the world, including the anti-apartheid movement in South Africa, the Palestinian liberation movement against Israeli occupation, Namibia's fight for independence, the Cuban Revolution, and more. By 1986 to 87, Thomas Sankara faced growing problems on all sides. The local elite were angry about losing their privileges due to his radical reforms. The economy was under pressure, partly because he refused foreign aid and cut imports to promote self-reliance. Foreign powers, especially France, saw his anti-colonial stance as a threat, and relations with neighboring countries became tense. At the same time, some people within his own government and army began to turn against him, feeling left out or fearing the direction he was taking the country. All of this created a dangerous mix of enemies, both inside and outside Burkina Faso. On the afternoon of October 15, 1987, Thomas Sankara went to a regular meeting with his top officials at the presidential compound in Ouagadougou. Just after the meeting started, soldiers loyal to his former friend, Captain Blaise Compaoré, stormed in with guns, surrounded the building, and opened fire. Witnesses later said that Sankara stood up calmly, without any weapon, and said, "What do you want? If it's me you're looking for, here I am," before being shot and killed instantly, along with 12 of his closest team members. Their bodies were quickly buried in unmarked graves, without autopsies or funerals. Soon after, Compaoré claimed that Sankara had died in an accident, took over as president, reversed many of Sankara's reforms, and restored close ties with France and other Western countries. Over the years, evidence and secret documents have led many experts to believe that France may have secretly supported or known about the coup, though nothing has ever been officially confirmed. After Sankara's death, France quickly accepted and supported Compaoré's new regime. French companies returned, aid resumed, and Burkina Faso re-entered the France-Afrique system. Many believe France benefited too much from Sankara's removal to be innocent. Thomas Sankara famously said, "While revolutionaries as individuals can be murdered, you cannot kill ideas."